What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hope you guys had a great day today. Gonna go over a few trades that I traded. PRZO. I still got some IVVD. I traded hook, and then I traded IREN. That was a good one. Gonna go over some before I hop into the book. Just gonna go over some of these setups and structure based off on them. This was a day two potential continuation play. This definitely swiped out in pre-market. Definitely swiped out the structure right here in pre-market. So once it started to pull back in base, I was looking for a weak open on this one. It did do somewhat of a weak open. This is a pretty big dump. More importantly, I was looking for maybe a potential 144 tap, like a nice continuation bounce and things like that. For the book on this one, I was able to grab some 151s, 152s on this one. Once I saw some selling exhaustion pretty much base out, and there was no more appetite of selling on the best bids down here, this is when I started to take my size or position. Right, I started to size into this or position into this play. I almost got stopped out when this happened, but here's the thing. There is so much open space on this all throughout this sell-off right here, and then all above here, okay? So to me, open market, this is just literally 5 minutes in. If this was going to stay heavy, this would have sold off, and potential backside would have came in on that one. Backside to me is just getting more clear day by day on the book. It's very important to watch for me any type of empty space above, or things pulling back or offers coming down. Is the book getting heavy? Are sellers staying in control? You can see this, are sellers staying in control? Or is this a previous area of absorption, potentially here and here, things like that, right? Backside enters, this is when I start to see the book start to really change on the heat map, and offers start to come in, stay in, and then sellers pretty much stay in control. Any bounces become lower highs with no follow through, with a lot of overhead and offers. So that pretty much keeps me away from these, right? You can just see these are just lower high bounces, and then you can see sellers that are in control. This was very important right here when we went to go test these areas. Buyers came in and removed some liquidity off the book, right? But then there was no real bid followed through on this one, okay? I even thought after this absorption down here, then we'd see some more follow through. But right here, just 11,000 shares get absorbed on the buy side, right? I talk about a lot of absorption on the bottom. Like this is absorption, and then all of a sudden now this is absorption as well. There was no follow through or some bids pushing up, and then immediately offers came in at 186, 184, and now you can start to see they had a bidder down here, right, 67K, and then they starts to get pulled as price action comes in, and things like that. So this did not stay strong for long. Remember too, this thing closed down here at 31%. As this was gapping up, we're sitting like 60, 70%. As a long, these things work really great when they're down here. Okay, maybe up here with some continuation, but as we start getting higher and higher, if the market's not super strong, or if there's not a strong sense of buyers, or if we can't overcome at least pre-market or any after-hour structure that's painted, right? And then we have this open market volume down here, then it's very important that, like, hey, wait a minute, okay, we're pushing 600K, 900K, 680K, things like that. There's no more follow through, so the open market volume is not helping us get above these structures. It's super, super important, because if it is going to stay strong, we're going to start seeing some swipes, some more bids potentially on the book. For me, that's what I look for, right? If we're going to start breaking through and buyers come in and start removing some of the offer liquidity, for continuation, I'm looking for new bids, maybe some book flips and things like that, okay? Hook, the same thing, right? Hook, same thing. end up getting a nice. It was kind of funny. There's me and this one guy in my room got 89.67 average. I was like, what? No way. Where I was going back and forth like, how'd you get the better soak? It's so funny. Um, this ended up putting in some nice higher lows, which was great. I saw that was staying intact. Very important too. Even some sellers getting absorbed down here. Another thing on this one is that this was a bigger float. Even if you were watching level two, you can see that, or even on the book right here, right? You can see that there is just way bigger liquidity on the current order book on both sides of this. So at any given moment, this thing was just trading pretty thick on both sides. It's a thicker float, okay? Um, so this was a great one out of open. It had held, made some higher lows, and then it started to go. Now again, same thing. You know, after studying the book a lot and seeing how they auction the price, this is an important area. When buyers come in here and remove the liquidity again on the book, right? It's very important that if there's a pocket that opens up because now there's no more liquidity, now I'm starting to see some buyers. To me, now these are buyers getting absorbed. Whether they're removing the liquidity right here, there's no more follow through, especially above here. You don't really see too much liquidity right on the book. But now I'm seeing, okay, 48,000 shares go through, and then a little bubble right here of 16,000. So we got like 60K of buying pressure mixed with a little bit of selling, right? But now there's not a lot of liquidity on this book. I know ARCA and those other exchanges were on here. Very important. If you guys got the book now, they don't really got Omni unless you register as a professional. So use your level 2, and then I use the book too as well. It's very clear to me when I see absorption now and no more follow through, right? This bid right here for hook, for me, this is what pretty much got me out of this is once I saw this big bidder right here, we had a 100K bidder pop up and there was not a lot of appetite on the best offer. To me, there wasn't a lot of people, a lot of new buyers at least, reacting off this strong support, okay? There's strong support down here too. This one got sold into. And then after that, this pretty much just traded sideways for rest of the day for a while, and then finally broke down. I'm sorry. You know, um, again on this one, right? If you guys look at Hook, Hook's another one. I mean, hey, what can I expect? This thing closed at 52%. This thing was also up about 112, I think, near highs on this one. It's like this is such a huge gap. All right, I if things again with open market volume come through, this thing is pushing. It's trying to reclaim structure again. Very important for us to reclaim structure on this, okay? We got a breakdown zone right here. I'll pull up the 1 minute, So we got a breakdown zone right here on the 1. It tries to reclaim and then stuffs. Tries again right here at open, and then finally breaks through and still cannot reclaim this zone. So it's very important that once we have this open market volume or any increasing volume above previous structure, that we see some more support on the book, support in general, maybe a new set of buyers, things like that. But if any shorts were in this, who even shorted this lower high, they're sitting very comfortable right here. So it's not creating an area of interest where there's people trying to cover or things like that. So that was the other trade. IREN, I thought this was a beautiful one. IREN guys, I did try something way down below on this one. There's a level, some absorption down here. This one was also a very different daily setup. Very clear. I'm just going to mark a trend line right here. This literally pulled back to the top of this level right here at 6.4, 642s, 640. This looked like a very nice, big, long, sideways flag breakout. Had really great volume. If you see average volume on the daily, this definitely exceeded it. This is exactly where this pulled back. It actually did set up a 5-minute flag. That's kind of cool. But it's still gapping up. I'm probably looking for this breakout right here of 8.15s for maybe a potential pullback continuation. Definitely keeping this one on watch too. This was a really great one. This was a grinder, you know. Um, If you were looking for like immediate, instant gratification on this, for this to break out, you're kind of sitting here and this pulled back. You're like, oh, what's going on? You know, is it going to break out? And then it pulls back, you know. So it's important to try to get some low ads on this, in my opinion. There's a couple good spots that you could have traded this anywhere along here. But this was great too because on the book again, down below they had some good absorption. And then they had this nice big 640 bidder front runner come in for a really long time on the book. All right. This thing was a slow grinder up. What's very interesting too on this one is that if you see this type of heat map and algo control, to me this is a nothing but control. I've been seeing this. This is a great examples too what they have on large caps when you can kind of see an overall pattern of sense of control. You know, this is very controlled on both sides, you know, to me on the best offer and the best bids, things like that. This thing traded too with a very tight spread the whole time, nothing too crazy, you know, but this is zoomed in, right, of what I was showing you guys earlier of how this looks really controlled. So it's like kind of traded, you know, among this price action. There's a bunch of, you can see just different size orders being push and pulled, both on the offers and the bids. That was very nice on this one. This was a great return, nonetheless, too, off early ads and just kind of, moreover, really seeing this one play out for me because it was just a way different name. It was also easy to borrow. You know, these I see a lot of people try to short sometimes just because it's ETB on Thinkorswim on that one. Okay, Alt had another one. Let me pull this up real quick because the only reason why I had Alt up again was kind of show you an example of that. SMFL, I got a scalp out of that thing. Nothing crazy, but here goes the same thing I saw on Alt that I saw on IREN. You know, so very like to me a sense of control, something that's just not dumping right away, but you can kind of see on the heat maps that you know very similar price action to IREN, but IREN we had a nice uptrend. Alt's pulling back right now. It's still not breaking down all the way, but um, you know the daily real quick on that one. Alt, you know, so you know it did pull back. We're still consolidating sideways now, so you know I'll keep eyes on this one too for any continuation or potential short. This is also easy to borrow on TOS, so you can play both sides of that. No problem. Guys, SMFL. All right, SMFL did catch a nice little scalp out of this area based off the book when this stuff happened, and then it consolidated and there was no follow through. I did not enter down here. I was able to get some high 280s, and then I just took it for a scalp. This is a name that also closed at 83%. When this was trading, it was above like 200 and something percent. As a long, guys, I am not trying to step in front of a name that just is gapped up so high. You know, it's gapped up really high. Had a previous day that it did gap up, but it gave its whole gain back. So, you know, this one did rip, but again, it closed, gave its whole gain back, and then closed right on the day. Still gapped up 82% nonetheless, right? But I was not trying to get caught or have FOMO of a name like POL that went from 100, 200 to freaking 6, 700%, whatever the max was on that one. But you know, still want to stay in my lane. Still want to trade things that as a long, try to soak bottoms and look for a big return rather than looking to get a quick little scalp. Because then if you sit here and you try it again, you can get caught in these dumps. You're trying, you're stopping out. You're trying, you're stopping out. You're trying, you're stopping out. You're fighting a name that's just is up so much, and to me has so much downside potential on that one. All right. That's pretty much all I got, guys. Real quick, SMFL too. You know, I'll show you where you know potential can help people. But this was let me see. This was the knife. Yeah. You know, I I scalped this. This is all to me. This is all just a scalp on this one. Once this breakdown happened right here, and then I saw this absorption, and then there was no more follow through, right? This is where I added up in 280s right here, looking for a nice squeeze. Um, Again, guys, if you see this right here, there's really not any big bid follow through on this one. All right. This is where a big, all right, all these bidders right here got sold into. I did not hang around for that. I scalped this thing immediately. But again, look at the insane drop on this. You know, tries to go back, sets up a lower high, and then eventually just, completely just gives back its whole entire move and closes red on the day. You know, don't get caught up in these, and I'm just going for longs and explaining this to longs. Uh, you know, even when you see things like this pop up, consolidate, remember how high we are on the daily. Remember how, you know, are we getting real support on this? This looks like just a bunch of initiation to me, a potential retail just slapping. That rather than there being a true buyer anymore, right? In fact, to me, there's just a bunch of selling going on here. Um, they try to show some control right here. They pop it up right here for a nice lower high, but then, they sandwich this. There's really not a lot of appetite, and when there is, when I see some 25, 23K going through right here for aggressive market slaps and no follow through, that's a bad sign. Okay, backside's definitely entering on this one. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. Decent day, some good returns on IREN, IVVD. Okay, IVVD. Almost forgot. Real quick, really quick. IVVD. This is a lighter play for me just because there wasn't a lot of liquidity in there. It only traded 1.1 mil for the day, but this thing did hold up. All right, did get a nice dip buy right here when it held up against that previous high against 350s, with no follow through. So I really want to see this continue and see if this can do a nice blow off or at least retest highs or get really close. This is kind of reminding me of View when View kind of set up really slow, and then did its little liquidation play, right? View kind of set up really slow, back to back to back, and then finally blew out right here. So I'm kind of looking for that on IVVD. Same similar situation where it's kind of a slow tick grind up, algo grind up, and then eventually we kind of either pull back base above $3 or sorry 396 is the high, and then go ahead and retest those 470s. We'll see. I don't know. Depends what the book's doing. Right now it's got this slow algo tick on the book to me. I kept it up for a couple days of price action where it's just really not breaking down. It's really not getting heavy. Again for a couple days, right? Very similar price action on the book for me on this one. As long as key levels hold up and it doesn't break down, I'll still be swinging some. All right, much love. Peace out, Mikey.